Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, good afternoon. This is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. The Commissioner of Yei River County in Central Equatorial State says 2 soldiers were killed by armed raiders who also stole more than 200 heads of cattle along with goats and sheep in a series of attacks in recent days. Health authorities in Western Equatorial State have confirmed one more case of Mpox as 2 other suspected cases have been referred to Juba for laboratory confirmation. An activist and political analyst have welcomed President Salva Kiir's pledge to restore peace and negotiate with opposition groups ahead of the December 2026 elections, but they are calling for immediate action to implement the peace agreement. These stories and more coming to in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. The Commissioner of Yei River County in Central Equatorial State says 2 soldiers were killed by armed raiders who also stole more than 200 heads of cattle along with goats and sheep in a series of attacks in recent days. In a statement issued yesterday, Commissioner Emmanuel Taban Seme said suspected raiders from Terekeka County carried out forceful looting in Mapoko, Geli, Jansug, Gimunu, Pokula, and Giru. The statement said the attackers also destroyed farmlands, vandalized private property, and terrorized civilians. Authorities in Terekeka County have not commented on the allegations. Commissioner Taban said that the violence has continued despite earlier resolutions and agreements aimed at the peaceful relocation of cattle herders. He further revealed that 2 soldiers were killed and 2 others injured while trying to stop the raiders during an overnight operation in Giru. Commissioner Taban strongly condemned the attacks, describing them as unlawful and harmful to peace, stability, and development in the county. He said the county government has formed a mobile security task force to pursue the perpetrators, ensure accountability, and remove them from Yei River County. He called on the public to remain calm, vigilant, and cooperate with security forces while reporting any suspicious activities to the authorities. Health authorities in Western Equatorial State have confirmed one more case of Mpox as 2 other suspected cases have been referred to Juba for laboratory confirmation. The development comes after the state earlier reported 1 death and 3 confirmed cases in Izo County and Yambio County several weeks ago. The State Minister of Health, James Abdallah Rona, told our radio on Monday that 4 of the confirmed cases were recorded in Izo, while 1 case was reported in Yambio County.
People, they are okay because among the 5 which was positive, 1 had already passed on. So the 5 are in good health. They are receiving treatment. And the number of contacts are 61.
Minister Arona said the contacts are close family members of the confirmed patients and are under close health monitoring. He said authorities are facing challenges in completing the construction of isolation centers, but expressed hope that the work will be finalized in this week or early next week. The minister added that the state government has established a task force to respond to suspected cases across Western Equatoria.
Their mandate is evaluate and monitor and coordinate with the health facilities in 10 counties. In case if there's any sign or symptoms, then they will report to the response team so that it can be rescued.
The health minister said the center will help contain the spread of the disease within communities. Minister Rona urged the public to remain vigilant and maintain proper hygiene. Activists and political analysts have welcomed President Salva Kiir's pledge to restore peace and negotiate with opposition groups ahead of the December 2026 elections, but they are calling for immediate action to implement the peace agreement. They warn that the ongoing fighting in parts of the country would undermine the process. President Kiir made the pledge while speaking at the 39th Ordinary Session of the African Union Heads of State and Government Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Reacting to the remarks, independent political commentator Andrea March-Mabior said commitment to dialogue is positive but questioned the feasibility of holding elections amid insecurity.
It is good for the leaders of South Sudan to commit themselves for inclusive dialogue and to commit themselves for peace in South Sudan. The main problem is that most of the parties to the agreement have abandoned the agreement and they are looking for solutions outside the agreement. I think the best way for South Sudan to return to peace is to implement the revitalized peace agreement in letter and spirit. And I don't see how this agreement could be implemented. And I don't see how we could go for a free and fair election in South Sudan when people are fighting in other parts of the country, for example, the northern Jonglei and Unity State and some part of Upper Nile. These are not promising and these are not good signs for peace in the country.
Archbishop Moses Deng Bol, peace envoy at the South Sudan Council of Churches, said limited trust among political leaders continue to slow dialogue and implementation of the peace agreement.
The biggest thing that we have really seen hindering or slowing dialogue or even implementation of the peace agreement down is limited trust among our political leaders. And this is actually going back to during the war, when there were disagreement among the leaders and even a split within the SPLM, SPLA. Those issues were never resolved because in other countries, when the war ended, usually it's followed with the Truth, Reconciliation and Healing Commission, as we have seen in other countries that have gone through the war. We have not been able to do that in South Sudan, and that is the only way you can restore trust and confidence among not only the leaders but even the people. And because we have not been able to do that as people of South Sudan, that is why you see all this intercommunal conflict. You see also a lot of political disagreement among our political leaders.
Meanwhile, Edmond Yakani, the executive director of the Community Empowerment for Progress organization, described the outcome of the African Union Commission C5 meeting as impressive and said the roadmap creates conditions for credible elections.
The outcome of the meeting of the AU C5 was impressive. It have responded to our expectation. It have met our objectives. The roadmap pillars of the meeting, it have responded to what we wish to see as outcome of the meeting. Immediate holding of ceasefire and de-escalation of the military confrontation, immediate commissioning of an inclusive political dialogue that involve everybody, even those who are signatory and non-signatory to our access, release of the political detainees, including the suspended His Excellency First Vice President Dr. Riek Machar and other political detainees, and commitment to agree upon a minimum standard for the conduct of the election as scheduled for December 2026, and also ensuring that the country enter to a moment of reconciliation, forgiveness, and making sure that a good enough conditions were created for credible and peaceful election in the country, and more other decisions that are associated with the outcome of the AUC5 Plus meeting. The roadmap, as I repeat myself, is convincing.
On his part, human rights defender Termanyang Karuij said the release of political detainees is necessary for national healing and stability.
This release of all political detainees would be a vital step toward a national healing, trust building, and the long-term stability. It would send a strong signal of the commitment to the reconciliation and demonstrate the transition and respect for human rights. South Sudan stand at the critical moment, sustain regional engagement, genuine political will, and adhere to the peace agreement are essential to prevent the further confrontation. The South Sudanese are healing for a durable peace that will benefit all its citizens.
At the African Union Summit, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, a member of the African Union C5, endorsed a proposal to appoint a former head of state to mediate dialogue among the signatories to the South Sudan's 2018 peace agreement. This is iRadio News. The governor of Central Equatoria State, Emmanuel Adil Anthony has requested the National Minister of Health to upgrade Tale Primary Health Care Center in Terekeka County into a hospital. Governor Adil said the center serves not only residents of Terekeka County but also communities in Aweriel County in Lake State. He added that the upgrade would allow the facility to provide services such as surgery in the area. The governor made the remarks following a meeting with the National Minister of Health, Sarah Cleto Real, yesterday.
Has great news that's in support to people of Central Victoria, especially on the health facilities. In the new mapping of among the private healthcare centers, we have mapped, they have mapped 2 facilities, pilot, Tali, private healthcare centers, and we have requested that Tali, because it serves the people from Lake State, Okwara, they serve people in Central Victoria and the Western Victoria State, that place, and taking into consideration the distance, we request that let it be upgraded to a hospital so that surgery and other facility services can be run, and we believe should take note of that.
Minister Cleto said she will visit Tale Primary Health Care Center today to assess the facility and advise on how to proceed with the governor's request. She said she would lead a delegation of technical experts from the Minister of Health together with the State Minister of Health.
There are 2 facilities in each state, and 1 facility is in each of their administrative areas. So in total there are 23 facilities that the Minister's initiative is going to focus on now. And the first visit is going to be to Tali Primary Health Care Center, and we're going to go tomorrow, Tuesday, the 17th, to visit the facility together with the Minister of the State. According to His Excellency the Governor, they have given a description of this, the facility and the people they serve, and they request it to be upgraded to a hospital. And our visit, I'm going to technical staff, and they will then advise in terms of how to move ahead with this request.
The Juba City Council has started implementing new road repair measures in the capital following directives from the Central Equatorial State Governor Emmanuel Adil Anthony. Working with the National Ministry of Roads and Bridges, the city authorities launched a pothole filling exercise along key roads in Juba to improve road safety and ease movement for motorists and pedestrians. City officials said the intervention is part of the state government's wider policy priorities to keep Juba clean, safe and accessible, while also strengthening service delivery and supporting economic activity in the city. Juba City Mayor Christopher Sarafinowani said most repair work is being carried out at night and in the early morning to reduce traffic congestion. He called on road users to cooperate with construction teams to allow the works to be completed on time. The City Council said the road repairs are expected to improve mobility across the capital and contribute to a safer and more organized urban environment. South Sudan has joined regional and international stakeholders in discussions on strengthening tourism resilience after participating in the 4th Global Tourism Resilience Day Conference and Expo in Nairobi, Kenya. The conference was organized by the Kenyan Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife in partnership with the Global Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management Center. It brought together policymakers, investors, and tourism stakeholders to explore ways of strengthening the sector. Discussion focused on mobilizing public and private financing for sustainable tourism, as well as promoting regional cooperation and policy alignment to build resilience. South Sudan's delegation was led by the Minister of Wildlife, Conservation and Tourism, Dinai Jok Jagor, who described tourism as a foundation of human and business connections.
Personally, I think that human connection starts with tourism. Any business and investors that you are interacting with here in Kenya once came to Kenya as a tourist. You should know that. And you too, going to another country to invest or to explore, you once go to that country as a visit. That means human connections starts with tourism.
You're listening to iRadio News, and now to the international scene. Here is Diko D. Andrew.
And for the international news, police in Malawi are searching for 9 suspects who escaped from custody after being caught allegedly smuggling charcoal in a hearse disguised as the part of a funeral processions. Acting on tip of, forestry officials intercepted the vehicle at a roadblock near the main city. Inside, they found an empty coffin placed over several bags of charcoal with an estimated value of $1,700, the Reuters news agency reported. But a manager from a funeral service told the BBC that the hearse driver was returning from seeing a Burford family when he bought the bags of fuel that were later confiscated. Elsewhere, Kenya Prime Cabinet Secretary Musali hosted Egyptian Foreign Affairs Minister Badr in Nairobi on Monday. They are hoping to deepen bilateral relations and trade investment ties between the two countries on the subject of water. And Madiva said Kenya will continue to support Africa lead dialogue-based approaches within the Nile Basin Initiative framework, and counterpart for the Egyptian said it was
This is iRadio News, and now we move to the world of sports. Here is Darlington Moses. Yes, good afternoon, Darlington Moses.
Good afternoon, Lasaba Memo. In the world of sport, we are starting with home news, where league leaders Al Merrikh Bentiu remain in control of the standings, but second place Jammus Sports and Cultural Club sent a powerful message with a dominant 8-0 demolitions of Bentiu City Sports Club. The result marks one of the biggest wins of the season and keeps the pressure firmly on the leaders. Elsewhere, Qatar FC strengthened their top 3 ambitions with a commanding 4-0 victory over Wajuma FC. The Atlabara FC secured a comfortable 2-0 win against Al Hilal Wow. In another high-scoring encounter, Al Khazala Wow defeated Salama Will FC 5-2, boosting the mid-table standing. Meanwhile, Olympic Rank earned a solid 2-0 win over struggling Lion Hunters, deepening the latter's relegation concerns. With just 2 points separating the top 2 sides, the championship's battle remains finally poised heading into the next fixtures. Attention now turns to today's encounter as Korean FC hosts Holy Family FC at 1630. Holy Family, currently in the top 4, will be aiming to close the gap on the leading pack, while Korean 6 valuable points to climb away from the mid-table pressure. Looking ahead, El Merrikh Bentiu return to action tomorrow at 1600 when they face Malakia Sport and Social Club in what promises to be a crucial clash of the top end of the table. A win for Al Merrikh would strengthen their grip on the first place, but Malakia, sitting just outside the top 4, have the quality to cause an upset. The FA Cup 5th round draw has been confirmed and includes several high-profile matchups set for early March 2026 with teams like Chelsea, Newcastle United, Arsenal, Wolves, Liverpool and West Ham United involved. Newcastle United will host Manchester City, recreating a high-intensity northern clash. Chelsea FC are drawn to face Wrexham FC away, and a tie generating extra buzz thanks to Wrexham's recent rise. Other 5th round fixtures include Arsenal FC vs Mansfield Town and Liverpool's FC vs Wolverhampton Wanderers. This is all in the world of sport, and back to you, Lasaba Memo.
Thank you, Darlington Moses. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here's a recap of the headlines. The commissioner of Yei River County says 2 soldiers were killed by armed raiders who also stole more than 200 heads of cattle along with goats and sheep in a series of attacks in recent days. Health authorities in Western Equatorial State have confirmed one more case of mpox as 2 other suspected cases have been referred to Juba for laboratory confirmation. Activists and political analysts have welcomed President Salva Kiir's pledge to restore peace and negotiate with opposition groups ahead of the December 2026 elections, but they are calling for immediate action to implement the peace agreement. That's the end of iRadio Afternoon News. If there is a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio, subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 12:30. I am Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.